Hey guys, welcome back for another video. What we're going to be doing today is we'll be taking an in-depth look at our 2025 Michigan Wolverines football team. We're going to completely break down this football team, look at the roster, look at the coaching, and try to predict the outcome game by game for their entire 2025 schedule. We're going to look at every single matchup, break them down, and try to see which games, as of right now, Vegas thinks they're going to win, lose, and which games could potentially be toss-ups as of the point of me making this video. I'm not saying they're going to win it. I'm not saying they're going to lose it. We're just saying, as of right now, where does Vegas see the outcome to every single one of these games falling? Is Michigan going to be favored, or are they going to be the underdog? First things first, though, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, do you agree? Do you disagree? Drop them below. I'm going to respond to every single comment. We also have our team's membership down in the comments. If you want to sign up there, I would appreciate it. The link is definitely pinned down there. Guys, make sure to like and subscribe. We're going over base football. And when the NFL and college football season start, we go over every game every single day throughout the entire season. And we also do the best bets, the money lines, the spreads, the over-under. So make sure you're following along with the channel if you are a fan of those things. So looking at the schedule there, you have the entire schedule for the 2025 Michigan Wolverines. Obviously, this team, you lost Harbaugh. You have more right now suspended for games 3 and 4 so far this season. But Michigan, even though they were in a rebuilding year, their entire team from that 2023-24 national championship team basically went to the NFL. Everyone up and down the roster, they were a very senior, very junior-laden team. They lost a lot of those pieces. You knew that they were going to have to rebuild, and they had to do it with a new coaching staff, new coordinators. So how is all of that going to pan out? Things actually panned out pretty well. Started out kind of slow. Run game wasn't getting going. They were completely struggling to throw the ball. One of the worst passing teams in all of college football. Let's just call it what it is, guys. They were awful throwing the ball. But they did what Michigan did best. They played elite top 20 defense. They were physical. They controlled the line of scrimmage. They forced the opposing team to play their style of football and play it their way. They dominated in the trenches. The offense started to get that run game going as the season was going along. By the time you got to the second half of the season, they were the healthier team. Other teams were starting to get banged up, and they were out physicaling people at the line of scrimmage, running down people's throat, ended the season upsetting the Ohio State Buckeyes. What a win that was. That team went on to win the national championship, and they dominated the trenches against them. And then they went out and then they dominated the trenches against Bama. Do not make any excuses for Alabama. They had their entire team. They had Milroe. Everyone came to play. Michigan had starters sitting out that game for the NFL draft, and they won it. They won it handedly. The score actually doesn't give full justice to how much Sharon Moore's team dominated that game. You have to give props to the coaching staff. You have to give props to the culture that has been created on that Michigan roster. But let's look over the schedule. So when you're looking there at the schedule, the games that Vegas sees Michigan losing, already preseason underdogs, are going to have a red star there. The games that Michigan is favored are going to have a blue star. The games that Michigan is a toss-up right now, according to Vegas, are going to have a yellow star. And now we're bringing up our predicted outcomes to every single game. Let's start going over these games. And one thing that you want to remember is how Michigan is now starting to build through the transfer portal and through recruiting, bringing in a 5-star quarterback. J.J. McCarthy was a 5-star quarterback coming out of high school, 4 years at Michigan. They're bringing in Bryce Underwood, one of the most heavily recruited quarterbacks in the nation last season. As a true freshman, he's coming in as a 5-star, the number 1 quarterback in high school. He might not light things up his first year. As of right now, he hasn't fully been named the starter yet, but obviously things are early. Season is still a ways away, but you have a lot of hype coming into this season. You have a lot of eyes on you, focus on you. The one thing at least Michigan does is they run the ball, they do the play action. They're going to seek to take pressure off of Underwood. He's not going to have to lead this team. The goal is not for him to throw for 4,000, 4,500 yards. It's just do enough, rely on that run game, and once he develops, sophomore year, junior year, then you could start opening him up a little more. You're going to have McCulley, Browder, Moore, O'Leary, Simpson, Morgan. You have Klein, Hansen, The running game, that's obviously Michigan's bread and butter. Haynes, Marshall, Bredson, Hoffman. There's a lot of weapons there, running back, fullback. We know that they're going to rely on the big bodies. They're going to lean on teams, dominate that line of scrimmage. Their goal is to control the second half of games. But let's start looking at this schedule. Let's start going over it game by game. So the very first game we have, starting things out Saturday, August 30th, the New Mexico Lobos. This is a group of 5 team. This is the type of team that you want to open up the season playing. They should not be able to compete with your talent level. You should be way more talented than them. This is a game that you're going to win. You're going to win it handily. The defense is going to dominate. The defense is going to control the line of scrimmage. The offense is going to control the time of possession. They're going to run the ball. They're going to keep the score low, but they might not light it up on offense. They might not win this one 50-6. That's not the Michigan way. Probably going to be like a 30-10 type game. Very low scoring. You got to take some pressure off of your young quarterbacks. You're just going to run a lot. You're going to run down their throat. And then you also want the young guys to start getting a lot of reps second half. So obviously they're going to be favored here. Then right after that, we have a Big Ten versus SEC matchup. This is going to be a really fun game at the Oklahoma Sooners, going to Norman, Oklahoma. Norman, this isn't the team you saw last year. They have a new offensive coordinator coming in, going to run more of a spread air raid type of offense. They're bringing in Mateer, the transfer from Washington State, with the same offensive coordinator from Washington State, Brent Venables. We know he's going to have a top 20 defense. They had one last year. A very physical team, very deep with their front 7 on the defensive line. But it's going to be the Oklahoma offense. That's what we all want to see. How does Mateer adapt to playing versus SEC competition? He's a guy that can throw for 3,500, 4,000 yards. He's a guy that could potentially run for 700 to 1,000 yards. He could be in the Heisman conversation, the number 1 transfer portal quarterback here. But we know Michigan is going to do what they do best. They're going to make you play their style of football. Michigan can challenge you in the trenches, though. They have enough talent to match Michigan. Very talented team with the better quarterback as of right now, because obviously Michigan's guy is going to be a true freshman here. You can only ask so much from a true freshman. But Michigan, whenever they force you to play their style of football, they always have a chance to win the game. They always make it competitive. That's why I have this game marked as a toss-up right now. Just because we haven't seen these two teams play. We haven't seen Mateer play at Oklahoma. We haven't seen Bryce play for Michigan yet. There's a lot of unknowns. I don't like saying things are certain yet. I want to first see these guys play in week 1, see how things look. So we have that as a toss-up. Then after that, you have your in-state rival Central Michigan Chippewas. This game back in Ann Arbor. Obviously, Michigan's going to be the favorite team here. They're starting to get the ball rolling now. Quarterback's starting to get some more reps. The run game is starting to get going. They're starting to find their identity. The further along they get in every season, they just usually get better game by game. So they're going to be the favorite team there as well. And then after that, Saturday, September 20th, at the Nebraska Cornhuskers. This is always a team that you kind of have to keep your eye on here, because they have Dylan Raiola, they have Matt Rule. We know they're going to be disciplined. We know that they're going to play good defense. They're going to be physical. They're going to rely on the run game. They're going to have a solid front 7. That's where they want to challenge you. This is the type of game where they can usually keep it really close. Nebraska last year started out the season really hot, kind of tapered off as the season went along. But you don't want to overlook Nebraska. You have to take them serious here. This is the type of game to me that is usually really close through 3 quarters, and then Michigan might pull away in that 4th quarter. But still, it's going to be a close win. But no doubt you're going to have Michigan probably, when this game actually happens, they're no doubt going to be the Vegas favorite team. But it is in Nebraska. Weirder things have happened. It's 2 good defenses. Whenever it's 2 good defenses, crazy things can happen. Could come down to a turnover game with a young freshman quarterback. The game is going to be a toss-up as of right now looking at it, but I do think Michigan is going to pull off a very close win. And then right after that, Michigan's going to be on a bye week Saturday, September 27th. They're going to need it. They just had 2 straight games without their coach, Sharon Moore. The very next game, we're going to have Sharon Moore coming back from that self-imposed 2-game suspension. This one's going to be October 4th. It's going to be the Wisconsin Badgers. This game is going to be in Arbor at home for Michigan. They're going to get new life here, new rejuvenation. Coach is back. That's going to give this team some spark with Wisconsin. You have to respect Luke Fickell, great coach coming over from Cincinnati and his time with the Buckeyes. But things just have not translated well so far with the Badgers. They have not gotten the offense going. They have a very physical defense, good defense, a top 30 defense, but the offense has been atrocious since he's been there. One thing they've always been known for has been their physicality, their run game, lining up in the eye, running right down your throat. That has not happened so far the couple seasons under Luke Fickell. As long as they don't have any elite level offense, you know that Michigan defense, they are going to feast against Wisconsin right now. So we have Michigan coming in here versus the Badgers. We have that as a Vegas favorite right now. There's always the potential of the upset, but as of right now, I feel pretty comfortable saying that Michigan's going to be a favorite that game. And our next game is going to be a very, very fun one. This is going to be at the USC Trojans. This game is going to be in Los Angeles, California, at the Coliseum, October 11th. I have this game right now as a toss-up. If you're a Michigan fan, don't start going crazy saying USC, they have no chance to win this game. They don't have the physicality coming over from the Pac-12 to be able to compete in the trenches with Michigan. Well, what I would say to that is USC, that defense, much improved in the first year of D'Anton Lynn as a defensive coordinator. They're going to be even better year two. They might take a little bit of a step back on the offensive side. Mayave and company, you got to get that offense rolling a little bit, but we know what Lincoln Riley does. He has elite offense. He has Heisman finalists every single season. The offense isn't going to be the worry. They're going to score some points here. It's going to get that defense to be able to last throughout 12 games of a regular season, keeping that physicality up. They're going to be even better than they were last year. And don't forget, USC right now has a lot of momentum on the recruiting trail. Yes, that's not going to help them for this year's class. It will help them for next year's class, but they have a lot going for them. Yes, they're not going to win the Big Ten, but this to me has track game written all over it. Michigan, couple nonstop Big Ten games. It might be a little war out here. How's the quarterback situation looking? Keene, Underwood, a lot of things going on right now. USC, they're going to score some points if they have a good game. If Michigan gets caught in one of those slow, sluggish games, this game could turn into a potential upset. That's why I have this game marked as a toss-up early season, preseason-wise Vegas. Yes, Michigan's more than capable of winning it, but Lincoln Riley's also very capable of pulling off the upset. Not saying they're going to lose, though. And then the very next game is actually going to be a rematch of the 2023 National Championship, Saturday, October 18th. We're going to be Ann Arbor. We have the Washington Huskies coming to town, Jed Fish's team. This team actually did not play bad at all last season, finished with the top 20 defense. Offense was a little sluggish to get started, but they had to completely revamp the entire roster. They are working the portal, recruiting, and they have a good coach, but they have to completely turn this team over and continue to use last season as a building block going forward. They took a step back from that national championship, but they are taking steps forward. Good team, competitive team, but I think Michigan, once you get into that second half of that season, the last, 1.5 to 2 months, that's actually usually when the Wolverines hit their stride, start playing really competitive football, and that's when their physicality actually starts to wear down on teams. I have this game as a Michigan favorability. Vegas is going to be favoring Michigan. Keep your eye on Washington, but Michigan should be able to top them here. And the next team you have is going to be your in-state rival, Saturday, October 25th, at the Michigan State Spartans. They're going to East Lansing, Michigan, facing off versus the Spartans here. Smith had to completely retool this team last season. They had to retool the offense, the defense. They have a lot of transfer portal players coming in. They have a lot of transfer portal players going out, completely retooling this team. And it's an in-state rivalry. Whenever you have an in-state rivalry, anything can happen. You don't want to overlook the Spartans here, but obviously Michigan is the more talented coach. They're starting to get the run game going. If the Spartans can build some semblance of a defense, they might be able to keep this game close, but this is going to be one of those games that's going to be decided by turnovers, but I'm going to be going with Michigan being the favorite team. And our next team's going to have some new coaches coming in. You have Barry Odom coming over. The Purdue Boilermakers, November 1st, coming to Ann Arbor, Michigan. Purdue just completely stunk it up last year. They had a pretty decent 23, had an awful 24. They have a lot of things that they need to change. They have to completely turn that roster over. It's going to be way too much to ask from Purdue to come in, first-year coach, come into the Big Ten, come into the group of four, and beat one of the massive brands. I don't see that happening here. Michigan's probably going to curb stomp them. They're going to win this game. It's going to be like a 40-7 type game, and they're going to be favored. And then Saturday, November 8th, we're going to have another bye week. Continuing that Big Ten play, we're going to be moving on to our next game, which is going to be Saturday, November 15th at the Northwestern Wildcats. It's going to be in Chicago. This is not a difficult place to play because there's a massive talent advantage for Michigan here. As I've said several times this video, Michigan plays their best football as the season's getting close to ending because they're such a physical team. Other teams have injuries piling up. Michigan lives off of that ground game, off those trenches. They're going to be healthy here. They're going to be deep at the line of scrimmage. They're going to win this game. They're going to be favored. And then another game, which is actually going to be pretty interesting to watch. We're going to have another Big Ten matchup. It's going to be Saturday, November 22nd at the Maryland Terrapins. This game's going to be in College Park, Maryland. As of right now, Michigan is going to be the favorite team Vegas-wise coming into this game. But it's one of those games you'll want to watch because, to me, just like the USC game, this potentially has trap game written all over it. You don't want to have your eyes getting caught looking at the end of the season. Maryland usually has a pretty decent offense. It's not a great offense. Nothing to write home about, but they usually have a capable team. A lot of roster changes coming into this season, a couple different coaches, but it's going to be that defense. Will they be able to slow down Michigan? How does Michigan look going down the stretch? If it's Keene, if it's Underwood, no matter who's starting, most likely it might be Underwood towards the second half of the season. At some point, he might get the nod as that full-time quarterback. There's so much hype going on. I don't know if you can hold him on the bench for too long here, but if it is him, young quarterback, how's he faring as the season's going along? They're going to win this game. They're going to be favored. And the final game of the regular season is the big one of the biggest games in college football every single season. Saturday, November 29th, Ohio State Buckeyes coming to Ann Arbor this season. The Buckeyes could find themselves in the top 5 here. They could find themselves number 1. But no matter what, they are the defending national championship. So much hype, but a lot of their team from that national championship team from last season is going to be gone. Yes, they're going to have Jeremiah Smith. They're going to have a very talented team, a top 5 overall roster in all of college football. But a lot of those veterans are gone. You're going to have a lot of first-year starters, a lot of younger players here, but they are riding the hype of the national championship. Both of these teams could be in place for a Big Ten title game here. Both of these teams could be in place potentially even for the playoffs. The Buckeyes, some people are even picking them to win back-to-back national championships, even though we don't even know what this team's going to look like yet because they have so many first-year starters. But no matter what, Michigan has the Buckeyes number. Let's call it like it is. Even in a down year last year, they still beat the national champion Buckeyes here at Ohio State. You have to respect that. You cannot overlook it. That's why I have this game as a toss-up. That's why we have this game as a toss-up, because no matter what the records are coming into this game, you can completely throw them out of the window. The Buckeyes were cruising last year, and Michigan just showed up and punched them right in the mouth. The Buckeyes, very physical, the number 1 overall defense in the entire nation finishing last year, and they still could not compete at the line of scrimmage with the Michigan Wolverines, who were actually limping coming into this game, but this gave them a little bit of a projection going forward, kind of catapulted them, and then the very next game, they beat Alabama Crimson Tide, again owning the line of scrimmage. But that's the way this type of game goes. Even if the Buckeyes are undefeated and Michigan is 0-11 at this point, you have to mark this game as a toss-up. History has shown us, no matter who's favored here, either side can win this game because both teams are going to want it. We have this as a toss-up. Both teams are going to be capable of winning it. So when you're looking at the schedule here, I don't have anything as of right now that is marked as a preseason Vegas loss for Michigan. I didn't say they're going to run the table. I'm just saying I'm not looking at their schedule and 100% certainty saying, oh, obviously preseason-wise, that's going to be a loss. We have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games that they're going to be favored in, 5 games that they're going to be potential toss-up matchups. Not saying they're going to lose those. I'm not calling for 7-5. I'm not calling for 12-0. I'm just saying Michigan for sure should have at least 7 wins. That's your floor. The rest of those games are toss-ups. Don't forget, with the young quarterback potentially as your starter this season, might not be, but might finish the season as the starter. If your floor is 7, that's actually not bad considering that you're breaking in a couple young players. You're doing well recruiting. You're doing well transfer portal-wise. Let Sharon Moore work his thing. So you're potentially looking at like a 9 or 10 win season, maybe 8, 7 worst case scenario. But I think they're going to do better than that. Guys, that's just our picks and predictions for our early preseason 2025-26 Michigan Wolverines team. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, by all means, drop them below, and I will respond. Thanks, and if you want to sign up for one of our member teams, don't forget to look down at the pinned comment below. You can sign up there. Thanks, guys.